now here in the Philippines that promotes mental health and emotional well-being. We are a mental health service provider located in the city of Makati. However, adapting to our current challenges, our services are also provided online. InTouch is also a community of mental health advocates, educating, raising awareness, providing care and support, and building the capacity of everyone for mental and emotional wellness. Today, we welcome you to this live webinar entitled The Importance of Play: How to Rediscover Joy in Our Lives. With this webinar, we hope to bring men together, promote and show ways to incorporate joy and play into our everyday, and leave you guys, our viewers and listeners, feeling uplifted and enlightened at the end of the hour. For this morning, we are joined by our esteemed speakers, two from our InTouch community and a special guest from the coaching and athletic industry. Starting with Mr. Julian Luis or Ian Augustin, Ian is a licensed psychologist and an avid fitness enthusiast. He currently works as a therapist and as a coach and facilitator of a movement-based program that addresses neurological disorganization and increases brain and nerve connectivity. In therapy, Ian specializes in concerns most typically related to stress, anxiety, overall holistic health and wellness, and self-care. During his free time, he does CrossFit, coaches fitness, and most recently has gotten into biking and bouldering as part of his own way of self-care and play. Good morning, Sir Ian.
Morning, Mark. Morning, everyone.
The next speaker that we have is another Julian, but commonly known as Doc J. Dr. Julian R. Montano specializes in marital and relational concerns, career planning and management, multicultural issues, mental toughness training, trauma, depression, and anxiety. He also does psychological assessment, expert witnessing, and clinical supervision. He is a licensed psychologist and counselor who obtained his double master's degree in social, counseling, and organizational psychology from the Columbia University, New York, and his PhD in counseling psychology from the De La Salle University, Manila. Doc J is the head clinical supervisor of InTouch Community Services and a faculty member and the supervised internship coordinator of the PhD counseling program of the De La Salle University, Das Marinas. More so, Doc J collaborates with various counseling and psychological organizations in our country and abroad. Thank you for joining us this morning, Doc J.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Hi, everyone.
And of course, last but not the least, our special guest this morning, Mr. Evan Spargo. He is a Filipino-Australian who lived in the Philippines for 7 years. Coach Evan is a personal and performance coach. He is passionate about working with leaders, high-performing individuals, and athletes. He prides himself on his ability to shine a light on what is unconscious to his clients, helping them to access their untapped potential from within, empowering them to transform their inner world to amplify their performance, impact, and personal well-being. He is also the Director of Training for Australia at Coach Masters Academy, a global academy that trains and certifies personal transformational coaches. He has over 10 years of experience working in the fitness and wellness industry and was a former international athlete representing the Philippines national rugby sevens team. Again, welcome, Coach Evan. We're all looking forward to your insights and sharing on today's topic on the importance of play and how to rediscover the joy in our lives.
Hi, Mark. Hello, everyone. Good to be here. Very excited for our session.
Okay, let's get the ball rolling then. I'd like to hear your thoughts for our dear guest speakers on what do you think is the relevance of our webinar this morning? Why do you think talking about the play is important right now?
Go for it, Doc J.
Should we go for age? Okay, right. I think for us, I think this is important, mainly to remind us men of something good and essential that we have in our system that we've forgotten. It at a very big cost. We all knew how to play before. We played. All of us played before, right? In different ways as children, and now here, play has something, right, to give us also as an adult, as adults, as men, adult men. And I think it does not only make us much better, but also healthy psychologically and physically, at the very basic level. Just to start it. Yeah.
Are you going by age? Because then I think Evan should go first. No, but I go ahead. No, to add to what Doc Jake said, I think it's really important as well because, it's not just like a cultural issue. It's definitely systematic. As kids, you just let kids play. And then as you grow older and older, you just get so many more responsibilities and stresses in life that really add up and build up like a weight on your shoulders. And the way to like really, deload that, take that off your shoulders is through play, through enjoyment, through finding something that adds value in your life that's not necessarily financial or, with your career or with your family, just something internal that just gives you that sense of joy and happiness that, makes life a little more livable and a little more fun.
Yeah, both really good points. What I like, Doc J, is that we do forget how to play. And you're so right, Ian. We get so busy, getting caught up being busy. And we do lose the essence of why we're here in the first place. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to be fulfilled and, exciting. That's how it should be. Yet society builds a construct that we should be all serious. We should be making sure that we're doing everything right. We're abiding by this and this and this.
Yeah.
But we lose the essence of who we are. And I think it's really important that we grasp the importance of play for us to start feeling good about ourselves again. Because I think that mental health is something that is on the decline. And a lot of it comes back to how we feel about ourselves. And I think that's the importance of today, remembering who we are and enjoying ourselves in our own skin. And that brings up my first question for both of you is, what is play? How do you define play? Ian, do you want to start with that one?
Okay, yeah. Well, it's funny because I actually was thinking about this and I had to okay, what is the dictionary definition? And the first thing when you Google it, that comes on Google is it's engaging in activity for enjoyment and recreation rather than, a serious or practical purpose. It's about just doing something for the sake of doing it. It's about having fun and, hopefully finding something that, is fun for you. And part of that is actually just exploring and, living life and trying everything because, especially now with the pandemic and everything where people got stuck at home for so long that, it kind of put everyone in a forced midlife / quarter life crisis where you just had to find yourself and live with yourself. And I think the problem for so many people is a lot of us haven't really found ourselves or what we enjoy. So forcing that onto us was very surprising for most. Maybe it was a difficult adjustment. But yeah, I mean, finding something enjoyable, finding something fun, just to be able to do it for what it is, just to give that feeling of, okay, there's something to be excited for every day. There's something to be grateful for and to be happy for every day. Or, just simply something to spend my money on that actually makes me feel good, right? Yeah, for me, that's play, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, or rather, it can be anything. It can be anything and everything that just people just do for themselves.
Yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, I think also specifically for adults, right? It's an activity that offers a sense of engagement and pleasure. That it takes us out of a sense of time and place. Sometimes we kind of enter into that zone just do it, we can just enjoy without pressure, or even over pressure, and so I think that's play. I saw the dictionary the first time I googled it also, no? And then I couldn't find it anymore again, but it's more of play is an experience of letting go, of letting, being away, overcoming your pressure, and just doing it, just that what's important is doing it, and not so much the outcome.
Yeah, really well said. I agree with that. Play for me is engaging in an activity or having a set of behaviors where there's no attachment to an outcome, where you can freely express who you are, let go of any perceptions that you may have or other people have of you, and fully express yourself with freedom. And I think when you truly lose yourself in a moment and able to really just access all of you and express that, that's when you are experiencing joy, pure joy that is unconditional. And I think that as in particular men, we just don't give ourselves enough opportunity to do that. And it's funny because if you are getting into this state of play, you actually access more resources and inner wisdom that lies deep within us, in our subconscious. So it's very powerful to have play, and we'll go into that a little bit later. So I'd love to find out from you guys, what do you do for play? What brings you joy in your lives? Doc J, I'd love to just throw to you first.
I played basketball. I love playing basketball, and so even at my age, I still continue playing basketball, and I played with my 11-year-old son, and it gives me that sense of just doing it, being free, especially now, even more now, right? Because the competition it's still there, but you're just beyond winning or losing. It's really more of doing it, and so that's what I like, and I feel that it brings me joy, to be able to even like, for example, right, learning, increasing your ability to shoot at a certain specific spot, for example, right? Whether it enters or not, right? If it enters, okay, let's do it again. If it does, wow, you kind of, yes, you can really experience it, without, just, and I think that experiencing that, I think, is the benefit of it, right? That experiencing that, that also that achievement, that feeling, and so yeah.
Love that. Ian.
Well, I have to agree with Doc J. I mean, I do CrossFit, so I've been doing that for 4 years, and it's just, for me, the joy of it is just being able to do things that I've never been able to do before. And part of that was, for me, that sense of fulfillment of being fit enough, strong enough to probably not get injured, even if I do random things. Like in my intro, Mark said that I just recently got into biking and bouldering. That's a pandemic hobby for me. But as starting out with a certain level of fitness, a certain level of like confidence to be able to do things, just made me confident in just trying more things and just enjoying more for what it is. That feeling of like getting through that route in wall climbing, or that problem in bouldering that's difficult for most people, or like that feeling of fulfillment is really something that brings joy, and just that feeling of freedom as well. Like for me, I think coming into more of a foundation of like CrossFit and movement, what I really enjoy, or what really brings me joy, is the thought of this has enabled me to have such freedom of movement, to try anything and everything that I'm willing to try, and just put my body through a lot, and probably not get injured, and be able to have enough level of strength, fitness, mobility, and flexibility to just try it and see if it's something for me. And that exploration is exciting as well for me, because yeah, I mean, the world's your oyster when you have that kind of level of enjoyment of trying things, because there's that sense of feeling like you can. So why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Doc J, you talk about really immersing yourself in the activity that you're doing and in the sport that you love. And Ian, I really enjoy how it's for you, it's new challenges, it's trying new things, it's being open, getting the best out of yourself and challenging yourself. I really like that. And for me, it's engaging in sport. Sport has been a big part of my life. So playing Australian football, rugby, running, going to the gym, that's how I kind of play. Also walks in nature, the beaches plays a big role for me. Just swimming in the water, crashing against waves. That's, I feel like, when I'm at my most calmest, even though everything around me is chaos, I feel calm in that chaos. So things like that. And I've also, cooking is another thing for me, what I've started to really enjoy, where I kind of lose myself. And the point I'm trying to make here is that when I'm fully present and engaged with myself and what I'm doing, that's when I feel the most joy. And it's about how can you find something that you can fully immerse yourself in, that you can lose yourself in that moment, and all thoughts go and everything is just present in your focus in the right now and what's ahead of you. I think that's a really great point. So thanks for sharing that, guys. Next one is why. Yeah, Doc J, go for it.
No, because what you said, I think also what you started to present there also is very important. That one, that we have different ways of playing.
Yeah.
Right. It's not only contact sports or right, rugby or something like that, physical or something, but it could also be spectator play. Right? Watching TV, watching the game and shouting and really enjoying it and really wanting that team to win. That's playing, right? Imaginative play, right? Object play, putting together Lego puzzles or something, or even fixing the car. If you're enjoying it, right? If you're putting, fixing that thing there, it's a hand activity. So yeah, I think that was important that you presented there, that there's not only one way of playing. Cooking, for example, as you mentioned, right? Yeah, me too. Me too. That's for me. I call it my therapy, because right? You cook, and so yeah, like that.
Just to add a little more perspective, I guess, like as Evan has said, it's just really the engagement, right? So yeah, hearing you guys say that, I remember like board game nights with my friends where we're not really doing anything. It's very artificial because board games are man-made creations, right? They're not something from nature. They're not something really natural. They're not things you need. They're just very imaginative. And board game nights, or like online gaming with friends, and just having that social aspect also is a huge part of it as well. That even if you're stuck in a room, that there's still something there that you can enjoy and you can benefit from and get something out of.
Yeah. And to encapsulate all that, it's the simple things. There is so much enjoyment we can get out of such simple things in life. And once you engage it and you see it from a different perspective to see what's available for us, we can really lose ourselves and enjoy that moment and what we're doing. So that's such a great point. So I want to move on to the next question. And, why do we as men really need to rediscover that joy in our lives? Why is it important for us? Doc J, I might throw that to you first.
Yeah, I think, I read there's this guy who studies a lot of play for men, adults, and he's saying that the opposite of play is not work, it's depression. So imagine a world without play, right? We don't have humor, we don't have movies, games, fantasies, right? And all the other things. Imagine having a culture that without play, right? And it's, so as I mentioned also at the start, it's something, it's ingrained in us. It's it's a basic system in us. It's part, and it's just part of our evolution. And so again, right, I think that's why it's important, why we need to rediscover life. play, because if not, right, it could be a sad ending, or it could bring us to a difficult place.
That actually, I think that makes total sense, because even for, I guess, for us too, because we like movement a lot, and we're very active. That is essentially work, right? Work is like well, not gonna go all scientific about it, but work is essentially just the amount of force that you do to do things, right? So like the movement that we do, the skills that we learn, it enables us to play some more. So I think to that point, yeah, work is not the opposite of play. Work actually can help us play, depending on what work we do. And yeah, same thing to Doc J's point, like that is definitely a world that's gray, and I don't think that would be very fun at all. Because yeah, I mean, frankly, to be honest, life is already a whole lot difficult and stressful enough as it is. What more if, we didn't try to enjoy it? As I said earlier, kind of like being stuck at home forces a lot of people to get into their own like personal crises, midlife crises of like finding out who they are or what they're about, or maybe coming to grips with, okay, what do you wake up for every day? And these questions are so difficult to answer when there's really nothing that you're excited to do every day or that you're enjoying every day just for yourself or just with the people around you, if it's your family or your friends, right? As Evan said, it's the simplest things. And if these simple things make you smile, make you feel like the life you're living, no matter how monotonous or if we're stuck, makes it a little more worth it, then yeah, that is exactly why. It's these little things that build up to something big for the long term.
Yeah. A couple of points that I want to bring out from what you both just said. It's like, as humans, we're programmed to look at what's wrong or like what's stressful about life. We like to make things a little bit more intensified in how much there's stress around us. And when we do that, we don't allow ourselves to actually enjoy ourselves and actually allow ourselves to let go in the moment, because we always think, oh, I have to be busy. I have to be working on my career. I have to be advancing, achieving. I have to be always looking after other people, that we forget about ourselves and what actually gives us energy. Play gives us energy. And I think not a lot of people understand that energy just doesn't come to you. It's something that you generate, and we generate it through play. We generate it through spending time rejuvenating ourselves, resting, but that also incorporates play. And I think as men, we're never taught how to deal with emotions. We all agree on that. It's we feel things, but we don't know how to deal with it. And so a heavy emotion that men deal with is shame. We have to look a certain way, we have to be a certain way, and we're not like projecting that, or we're not being perceived as that. We take it on and it hurts us, and we keep this shame within us, and this shame builds up and we don't know how to deal with it. So what do? It's a tendency for us to look for substances, or we look for ways to release it somehow, okay, which become unhealthy and toxic. So if we can find a way to play, it allows us to express ourselves, express our emotions, so that it's a healthy release. So it actually gives us more sense of peace in ourselves and emotionally. And that's why I think it's really important for us as men to discover joy, not only to give us energy, but to release emotions that have built up over time that we don't know how to express. So that's a different kind of point of view that I'd give. And, that also, it's also interesting. And when I bring up that, I want to find out what else gets in the way of us experiencing joy. Dr. J, I'd love to find out, what do you think gets in the way of that?
I think one thing is that, as we mentioned already, right, the modern world, right, our work-obsessed society, we're right. That's men are made to do that. We have to achieve this, as you said, right? I think that's the main thing. But again, right? Play. I wanted to add to that is that. So we're talking really about play, putting play into our life and everything like that, and play as a standalone, right? It's something that's important to achieve and everything. But if you really think about it, we can also play at work, right? I mean, bring in that flow, bring in that zone, to be in the zone at work, right? And to bring back that passion at work. And so I think the main block, to go back to your question, is that one there, that um, how society has normed our way of behaving, or what we should be, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think to add also to that, I think it's super important that, yeah, work is a big part of it, but also work is one of the things that kind of everyone has to experience every day that causes us stress. And I think really stress is what gets in the way of experiencing joy, of being able to play, because as Evan has said, it's these stressors that kind of take away from our energy, from ourselves, that we need to replenish through resting, through play, through recovery, through taking care of ourselves. And it becomes kind of like a toxic cycle, that the more stressed you are, the kind of the less time that you have to enjoy and to play. But at the same time, without enjoyment and play, you get even more stressed. And it just goes around and around and around to what end, right? And that's why I think it's another big thing of why we need to like find joy in our lives as well, because really stress is going to get in the way of that. But if stress is there, the only way to really deload that stress, to stop it from getting in the way, is to play, is to enjoy, is to rest, is to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
No,
I'm going to take both. Go for it, Doc J. Go for it.
No, I just wanted to add there, sometimes if you're having a bad day, sometimes, right, when we're caught at work and bad day like that, I think sometimes, you jump up and down, just shake your body and everything like that movement, it makes you feel better, right? It's really, it's simple, but it's also powerful.
Yeah. Just to disrupt the system, to shake it out. I like that. I'm going to take the main idea from you, Ian and Doc J, and I think what gets in the way of us discovering joy and experiencing joy is perception. What creates stress is our perception. We perceive something in the future, we perceive something that we're dealing with now as something that is challenging, or something that's going to cause us to be upset or disrupting our normal patterns. We create stress from our perception. And with that, how do we perceive work? Doc J, you talked about we should be able to play at work. Well, our perception of work is it's hard, it's challenging, it should be draining. So if we change our perception of what play is, play could be just going to work and then having a nice conversation with someone, or having fun with a work colleague, or finding fun in your actual work and what you do. If we can change our perception of what work is, and then change our perception of what play is. Play doesn't have to, we have to go to a playground and run around or engage in sport. Play can be something different for us. Whether it's listening to music and dancing around, or, singing or something, then we can allow ourselves to play more. Redefine what play is for you, and you can allow yourself to play more, because you'll find more opportunities in your life to play. So I think it really comes back to how we perceive play and what we perceive our situation. Yeah.
Agree.
So, yeah. And that ties in also to self-esteem. Self-esteem is something that's tied into mental health. And I'd love for you guys just to talk through what self-esteem is and how we can build it stronger for ourselves.
Go, Ian.
All right. Well, I guess we as people, we are the sum of all of our experiences at whatever point we're in life, like right now, right? And hopefully a lot of these things that add up to who we are kind of like good memories or good experiences, or of play, of enjoying life, that make us feel good about who we are and the life we live, what we do. So yeah, I mean, part of it is to build like that self-esteem, is to do things, to enjoy things, to live and have fun, because as we find what we enjoy and we get better at it, that also makes us feel better about ourselves. about learning a new skill or being able to do something new, or about getting better at what we choose to do, whether it's work, it's our vocation, it's our hobbies. And really, the more that we do and the better we get at the things we try and keep doing, yeah, the more that we might find that we feel good about ourselves too, that we feel better about ourselves and more confident. And that's just like, it's a collateral. Through play, without even addressing it, you start to feel better about yourselves and maybe more confident about yourselves, how you handle yourselves, or how you talk to others. Especially if it's about something, you've really built for yourself, you're really good at, or that you really do, and you've kind of become maybe not an expert or a master at, but really, really good at.
Yeah, I think there's what brings down our self-esteem is, I think, the idea, the thought, or the belief that it has to be well. Things have to go well. I have to be able to do this. I have to be able. I have to achieve this. I have to reach this. Instead, hey, accept the fact that it's okay not to achieve it. Yeah, working on mental toughness. One thing that they underscore is that one of focusing on what you have to do to win, and not focusing on winning. Obviously, you love winning, but it's what you want. Enjoy what you have to do to win, and do it. And then another thing also is that one of, sometimes, and I'm sure Evan has this personal experience of his playing real competitive sports. That one sometimes, right? You have to play, and it becomes work also. People are expecting you to perform and everything like that. But really, your best moments of playing is when you're able to be beyond that, pressure, the one they call being in the zone, being in flow, right? That's the best moment. And to be able to enter there, right? You're beyond doing it. I need to do this or not, I have to win this or not. No, you're beyond, you're on an automatic mode. You're just right, doing it. And so I think that that's a kind of important thing, to be able to reach our self-esteem, to increase our self-esteem.
Yeah, I really like that. Being in the zone, being in a state of flow. And that comes from not just thinking about it, not just doing something about it, but really embodying yourself into what you're doing. And the more that we do that and we use all of we have accessible to us, the more that we can really just appreciate who we are. We appreciate the skills that we have, we appreciate all that we have as a person. And I don't think we do that enough. And that can contribute to self-esteem. As you said, Ian, self-esteem is how we feel about ourselves, how we see ourselves, the meaning we give for ourselves. And I think the antithesis of self-esteem is this belief that we're not good enough or we're not enough, right? So I think for me, self-esteem is about how can you build truth that you are enough? How can you find evidence in your everyday life about who you are, what you do, to show that you are enough? It's like a child that has a big piggy bank, and every time they save a coin, they put it in their piggy bank. All right. And it builds and builds and builds, and they have this full piggy bank. And with this piggy bank, they have access to more things. They've saved something. They feel good about themselves. And it's just like us, our self-esteem. If we do something that we're proud of, we engage in a positive relationship, we find gratitude in something that we do, we build a routine, a positive habit, we exercise, whatever it is that makes you feel good about yourself. It's like you're putting a coin in that piggy bank. And the more that you do these good things, these self-affirmations that make you feel good about yourself, this piggy bank grows and grows and grows, right? And then now as your self-esteem grows, you have more access to things in life. You have more emotions, you can see possibilities, you have more opportunities because you've built up a stronger self-esteem, okay? And that reflects in our outside world. Our inner world reflects our outside world. I'm a big believer in that. So there's some ways that we can build our self-esteem. And in doing that, joy is a big part of that. So how can we include joy more in our lives? Ian, I know that you're very active and you're always looking for new challenges. What ways can we really include joy in our lives?
Well, I guess for me, to be honest, in the short term, especially when I see clients in therapy and all, one of the things I tell them is just do something for yourself every single day. No matter how small it is, just do something that you can be excited for every single day. Whether it's playing that video game or buying your favorite ice cream, ordering out your favorite food, or anything. These small things are small things, but one small thing a day, every single day, as you've said, it's just adding one coin, 1 penny, $1 to the to that piggy bank that adds up for the rest of your life. It's a big thing. But in the long term, yeah, I mean, as I do, just try everything. It's in really trying everything that we might find that we can love and be passionate about, something that hopefully sticks with us. That we love to do, that we can sustain in our lives, that helps us just be happier. In finding, that we might find more enjoyment and meaning in our lives, yeah, in small and big ways.
Yeah, I think before I answer that question, as I think also Ian pointed out also there, even I wanted to say I like that image of a piggy bank, right? And the thing is that it grows and grows, not because you're making it grow, but it naturally grows, right? That's the way life is. It will grow, so just put it in there. Put that coin there. And yeah, just to answer the question, it's for me, one thing is this. I think there's this question of maybe also understanding that play has to be a vacation, or a determined vacation, or something like that, or a long-term thing, but right, and it's something, as we said, there are many expressions of play. And another thing also is that that thing of scheduling it, right? And so if it's scheduled, maybe it's already work and everything like that. But again, right, it's so important that it has to have an identified time in our day, and so to be able to be more, include more joy in our lives.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We schedule everything else in our lives except for joy. Right? We'll schedule this, we'll schedule that, but what about joy? I know it sounds counterproductive or counterintuitive, because why should we schedule something that doesn't have structure? But we actually do have to structure it in our daily lives, and that's something how we can bring more joy. And another thing is allow ourselves to let go. Give ourselves permission to experience joy. I'm a culprit of always thinking I should be serious. Life is serious. I have to do this and this. And when I get into this place, I don't feel good about myself. I have a lower self-esteem and lower mental well-being. But when I do let go of that and just enjoy, look, this moment I'll never get this moment back, and just fully enjoy it and fully embrace it, that's when I'm feeling my best. So we have to allow ourselves to let go of what we expect ourselves to be doing or where we should be at. It's appreciating the reality that we have and not wanting to be somewhere else. And that's a massive lesson that I've had to learn myself, to be at peace with the moment, to actually allow myself to have joy and experience joy. Usually joy is something we can either give or not allow ourselves to have. So I think that's a really important. We have a choice whether we want to experience it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to find out any other tips that you'd like to give to those guys out there who may be struggling with their mental health. Doc J, I might start with you.
Other tips I think would be more of I want to put it together as play is just like sleep, right? It's just like if we don't do it, then we miss on something, right? It's an essential part of our mind and our body, of our health. So I think other tips is that one thing is one thing is that one of being able to focus on what you want to focus on, and not what the environment brings you or leads you to focus on. And so to be able to do that, we need to develop some mental skills that injects positive statements, positive thoughts that will fight the more natural reaction of negative statements when we are under pressure, right? So I think that one there to kind of put into adapt, to our everyday practice, regular emotional regulating exercises, grounding exercises. Even as simple as deep breathing, relaxation, mental focusing, simple exercises, but it has to be integrated in our everyday practice. It's something, it can be play also, it's something that we can do. It's achieving, it's like learning a physical skill, like learning dribbling. I have to dribble hours during the day or something like that. Also this one here, I think, to develop mental skills that will allow me to, or give me a capacity to focus on what I want to focus. I have to practice and learn it.
Yeah, love that. Plenty of great tips there, Ian.
I'll go at it from a different perspective than Doc J, since he already talked about the mental perspective. For me, part of it is your health is your mental health, right? I mean, yeah, sure, it's your brain that processes your thoughts and your feelings, but your brain is literally in your body. It's only ever going to be as healthy as your body is. If you're not taking care of your body, then you just don't have energy. You're not good. You're unhealthy. If it's just like having a cell phone, if you're always on low battery, you're never going to have the energy to keep up with your life, the things you want to do, or the things that you have to do. Like, this is your foundation. And if your foundation is bad, anything you build in it, no matter what, your work, your family, whatever habits or lifestyle, it will only crumble. So part of it, aside from, practicing and learning mental health, or practicing like mindfulness and like different strategies and techniques, is also very simple things. Sleep really well every day. Go out, get some sun every day. Make sure you're always eating enough and you're taking care of yourself. And most importantly is, self-care and play every single day. Add to that piggy bank every single day.
Yeah, I love that. Some brilliant ideas there from experts there. And I'm going to offer something different. So in one way that we can help ourselves is to actually express those inner thoughts, anything inside, unexpressed emotions or thoughts, put them on paper. I'm a big journaler. So every morning I'll write in a journal, and I usually start with writing, what am I grateful for? Then I'll write something about what's on my mind, and then I'll set an intention for the day. And that really just, when I do that every morning, it feels like I've got everything off my chest, and it gives me something to work towards each day. And I feel like I'm more structured, if that makes sense, as I progress through the day. And I think another thing is, what contributes to us suffering as humans is our inability to meet our needs. A lot of us, especially as children, we go up and we have needs that we don't know how to express or how to ask for. And it shows up as adults, and it shows up in the way that we emotionally react to situations. It shows up in, us feeling helpless at times, and us feeling down and sad because there's a need within us that is unmet. So I'd encourage you to spend some time self-reflecting and asking yourself, what do I need most right now that I'm not currently getting? And it might not be what you think it is. It might be something deeper. It might be something I need to feel reassured. I need to feel that I am enough. I need to feel that I'm loved. I need to feel that I'm safe. And it usually comes down to that. Do you feel safe right now? Once you start reflecting on these things and put them in front of you, then you can see, oh, I want to learn how I can give myself this need. I want to learn how I can help myself now. And as you start to reflect on who you are and what you need, you start to again add coins to that piggy bank. And you start to feel better and better about yourself because you become more self-sufficient. You become more resourceful because you're now looking at ways to help you. But you've got to give yourself permission and time and space to do that. And I think that's really important for us as men. You know, women do it really well. Women will tell you what they need, won't they, guys? Right? They'll tell you exactly what they need. But why can't we as men? So that's, I think, is such an important first step for us, is to be real with what we need and express that. Yeah. So I'd love to throw to Mark now to come in and wrap this up. I know you've got a few questions.
Thanks, Evan. Those are actually home run tips, I would say. That would be really helpful for our viewers and listeners in our daily mental health game. But more than that, let me throw this last question to you, our dear speakers. What is your key insight or advice to the men out there, like to our fellow men out there? Anyone who'd like to start?
Okay, age goes first again. No, what I want to say is, let's take time, right, to enjoy life, to find an activity that you like, that you love, right? As we said, there are many infinite activities there, choices that you can pick on, but identify 1, 2, 3 and do it, right? And that would lead us to, for sure, a longer life, a happier life, more fulfilling life.
Yeah, I mean, to add to Doc J's point, to be honest, yeah, just try everything. Really, it's in trying everything that you'll find what you don't like, what you're not into, and hopefully that you find what you do like. And that doesn't have to be just activities or sports or movement. It could be yoga or mindfulness or journaling, different strategies and techniques for like organizing your day, having a planner, not having a planner, having different apps on your phone that remind you to do certain things, or like changing your time of sleep. Just do anything, try everything. And hopefully in doing that, one thing sticks that you can really enjoy and adds value to your life that just, yeah, makes your life longer, as Dr. has said.
Yeah, and I'll add a couple of things to that. The first is finding time to and allowing yourself to express those thoughts, those emotions and feelings that you're trying to either hide or you're trying to suppress or you're trying to not allow to come up. Learn healthy ways to express it, whether it's through writing, whether it's through finding someone you feel safe with and communicating that with them. I think one of the best things that we can do is to be vulnerable with someone and talk about what's happening for you. Someone safe who you can trust, someone who you respect and will be safe with you. When you are able to express these emotions and thoughts, you really start the healing process. And what it does is you actually, when you talk about what you're experiencing, you start to see it from a third person or an outside view. And when you do this, you actually develop more compassion for yourself because you can start to see what you're actually going through. Just like a friend, if a friend came to you and started confiding in you and started telling them what they're experiencing, your immediate reaction is to feel empathy and compassion for them. So imagine doing that for yourself and how good that would feel for you. And I feel this is really important for us to start the healing process of ourselves and improving our mental health. And other things like exercise, building healthy habits and routines every day, just to build structure in our lives will really help us feel that our lives are more manageable and that we have some sort of control there. So there's a couple of things that I'll give you.
Yes, thank you. What I really got on that is like being able to self-express in a safe space where you could really play. So I guess that would be a good tip for our fellow guys out there. So to to our viewers and listeners, again, I hope you've taken note of that. At this point, let's hear from our Facebook Live viewers. Some of them sent us some questions, starting with Mr. Jolly John Lee Leonardo. Okay, the question is, a form of play could be gambling. Does that result to stress or anxiety, gambling?
Dr. J, do you want to go?
There is also joy there, right? I'm sure there is joy there. The thing is that the result brings you, introduces a need to perform, right? A need to achieve something. So again, play is something that what's important is doing it and not the outcome, right? Instead, gambling is, at a certain point, it becomes the outcome, becomes the definition of enjoyment or maybe of success or something like that. So that would be, I think, kind of some premise or some boundaries within that.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. Gambling is, you have an attachment to an outcome of gambling. Okay, and if you don't get a certain outcome that you want, suffering is a result. So you actually, it can work both ways. And so it becomes an unhealthy habit because we rely on an outcome. And if we don't get it, we create suffering. And this suffering can create greater trauma. It can be quite consequential because money's involved, people's lives are involved, livelihoods. So that's how I'd see it. I mean, if you can manage it and still enjoy it with non-attachment, then who knows? But you got to look at it from the bigger picture there.
I was actually researching a little bit about, like, okay, why is joy different from happiness, right? And one of the things that they say there is, like, happiness is something you get externally. So yes, gambling can probably make you happy because you get something externally out of the result. But joy itself is something that you kind of build on, and, you know, that you do for yourself. It's kind of like if you were maybe into, you know, you're a mechanic or you're into biking, like, you can buy a bike and that can make you happy. But there's a different joy with being the one to build that bike by yourself and for yourself. So yeah, I mean, I think definitely there's also that disconnect as well, as Evan has said, with how gambling itself can bring joy, and especially if it crosses that boundary or that threshold where it just you need the result for you to get happiness, then that defeats the purpose.
Okay, we may have this as a last question since we're reaching the end of the event this morning, but please do continue to send your questions to our viewers and listeners through Facebook via the comment box, and we'll try our best to get back to you via Messenger with the responses from our speakers. But before we formally end, again, the last question we'll have is from an audience named Gemini. Could you relate your topic to Maslow's hierarchy of needs? I guess this is more on relating the importance or the need for men to play.
Go for it, Dr. I know this is
Maslow. No, that's Yen. Yen has just studied that, just finished his MA. So okay, go. Yeah, go, Yen.
Okay, no. Yeah, I mean, I guess with the hierarchy of needs is, of course, they're, you know, having that foundation, right? Having that foundation, kind of with what I said earlier as well, is that, you know, you always need to have, like, safety, a place to sleep, food to eat, and all of these things. And the thing about play is that play, aside, you know, as we've talked about, play can be many different things, right? Play could you be trying to figure out how to sleep better. For an athlete, you could be trying to figure out setting your goal to be 8 hours of sleep every single day consistently. So play can really go anywhere along that hierarchy of needs, because sometimes, you know, you need food to eat, and that's definitely at the base. Play can be about playing around with the food that you eat to get yourself healthier, to make yourself happier. So does it relate? Yeah, it's definitely somewhere there. but it's also about that mindset of where do you want to put it? Where, or maybe is there some place along that hierarchy where you feel like you're not getting enough of, not enough safety, or not enough belonging and love needs or whatever, and maybe putting play there to try to get those needs that you need to have, but also getting it in a fun and creative way that can, benefit you twofold.
Yeah, right. We talked also about self-esteem, right? And that's part of Maslow's needs, and yeah, right. And play contributes to that. So I agree with Ian. It contributes at the different levels, and because and again, because it is part of our life. It's an integral part of our life. It's one of as they say, right? It's an archetype, right? Jung would say it's an archetype. It's something that everybody experiences ever since we weren't born yet. It was being experienced, right? It's play.
Yes, thank you for that response to the question from our viewer about regarding play. Okay, at this point, before we formally end, let's hear from our speakers on how we can get in touch with them. Sir Ian, Doc J, Coach Evan, anything you'd like to promote as well?
Doc J, since you're the supervisor, I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, we're here. We're at in touch. We have our numbers. They will post that. One thing I wanted to add also to what everyone was saying about that one of exploring your inner self. Of asking yourself the real questions in life and everything like that. Sometimes men could be afraid to do that, right? Or afraid because we're saying, oh man, I'm not used to that. I mean, I don't know how to do that. Oh, that's difficult. Instead, just jump into it. It's not really something difficult in a sense. It's new. It could be new, yes, but it's something that's in you, in us all. It's more natural for women, but it's something also in us, in men, and so jump into it. And so there also, back to this thing here, call us, talk to us, and we're here, to create that safe place for you, and that you are, I mean, already at your act of calling or connecting is you are already creating that safe space.
Yeah, nice. For me, it's just please connect with me on Instagram at Evan Spargo. That's the one I use the most. And look, if you guys, anyone out there wants some help with your self-development, your mindset, mental well-being, I'm always posting about that. Feel free to send me a private message, and happy to share anything that I can do to support you guys out there. I'm very passionate about men's mental health and allowing men a space to express ourselves in a safe space so that we can both heal and grow together. And I think that's really important. So thank you.
Can I add one thing also? I do a lot of couples issues work, so in a sense also, I can work also with men who are having difficulties with their partners, and so right, to better that relationship. So connect with us.
Okay, I think let's jump to our end. It's time for us. We are now formally concluding our webinar this morning with the hip of gratitude to our speakers and to our viewers and listeners who joined us this morning today. Again, thank you very much, Sir Ian, Doc J, and Coach Evan for helping us rediscover joy through the performance of or importance of play in our lives. So to our viewers, please feel free to practice what you've learned from today's webinar and share it to your peers, to your mates, your friends, your family. And thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Kain na.